favor of Andrea Fishman's amendment that we meet on the fourth Wednesday of every month until the new board is seated, please raise your hand.
I bought it used.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That does not carry. All those in favor of Carolyn's motion is now not amended, that we meet every fourth Wednesday of the month in perpetuity. Was it third?
The fourth was a use amendment.
Every third.
To the third, at Sarah's suggestion, but it was the fourth Wednesday of every month, and therefore it was the same as Andrew.
I believe you had originally said the third Wednesday of every month. Yeah.
I accepted Sarah's
Suggestion. All right. All right. All those in favor of meeting on the fourth Wednesday of every month in perpetuity? That we only voted on the amendment that we would meet on the fourth Thursday until the fourth Wednesday until the new board is seated. Now we're voting on Carolyn's amendment that we meet on the fourth Wednesday of every month in perpetuity. I know she did. But she now wishes to change it. Well, we can vote to allow her to change it. All those in favor of allowing her to change it, please raise your hand to the fourth Wednesday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Basically, what happened was that Carolyn originally proposed that we meet on the third Wednesday of every month into perpetuity. When Sarah pointed out to her that we had that the third Wednesday of next month is the anniversary of the Iraq War, Carolyn took that as a point well taken. But in order for her to change a motion that has already been put before the body has to agree that she can change it. So we have to say, can she change it to the fourth Wednesday? Then we're going to vote on whether we're going to meet on the fourth or Wednesday in perpetuity, or the third, whichever we vote. So all those in favor of allowing her to change her motion to the fourth Wednesday of every month, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That does not carry. All those in favor of meeting on the third.
And propose that we meet on Thursday the 27th instead of Wednesday the 26th.
I don't think we voted on Carolyn's non-changed motion that we meet on the third Wednesday of every month in perpetuity. No, we voted on whether she could change it.
Point of information.
That's right.
That's
The vote
right.
is to allow
Yes.
Carolyn
Yes,
to change.
Carolyn.
I did not put in perpetuity in there, I believe you added that.
All right, yes, I did. All right, so all those in favor of Carolyn's motion that we meet on the third Wednesday of every month, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That does not carry. Now we have 3 dates before us. Tuesday, way over time on this too. Yeah, we're way over time. All right, so we have 3 dates before us: Tuesday the 25th, Wednesday the 26th, Thursday the 27th. Let's do a process of elimination. Who cannot make it on Thursday? Yes, who cannot make it? I believe it would be intelligent to do a poll to see who cannot make it on which days, and then from there we can go to a vote.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Point of information.
Yes.
Would it not also enhance the understanding of what we're talking about if you allowed people to say why we should meet on a particular day or date, or not another date? I mean, do
We're out of
people
time
have,
on this.
Somebody brought up why the 19th wasn't good. Does somebody have, we have 3 dates.
I think that at this point, we can just ask people about their availability on those dates and then move ahead. We've taken a lot of time in this already. All those who cannot make it on Thursday the 27th, please raise your hand. All those who cannot make it on Wednesday the 26th, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All who cannot make it on Tuesday the 25th, please raise your hand. 1. Okay, so the Thursday looks like the clearest day, the 27th. What, you can't make what? You cannot make it. All right, so you have one person who can't make it on the Thursday and one person who can't make it on the Tuesday. You can't do Thursday. We have one person who can't make it on the Tuesday, two who can't make it on the Thursday, and a large number who can't make it on the Wednesday. So I guess we'll entertain a motion for the Tuesday. All right, it's been moved and seconded that we meet on Tuesday, the 25th. All those in favor? All those in favor of meeting on Tuesday, the 25th, raise your hand, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All opposed? Please come to order. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that carries. We're going to meet on Tuesday, the 25th. Yes. Next item on the agenda is the election of the treasurer. All right, please come to order. Please come to order. The next item on the agenda is the election of the treasurer. Bob? Yes, Bob.
I nominate Baruti Bediako. I have spoken to him and he accepts, and he'd be happy to serve again as he has for the past 3 years.
Moved and seconded, Baruti Bediako, yes?
I nominate Jamie Ross.
All right.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Jamie Ross. Any more customers? Any further nominations for treasurer? No? Jamie, would you like to make a statement?
Yes, I would like to make a statement if you give me 1 minute to find something.
Okay. Should we hand out the ballots?
Okay, Madam Chair, I'm prepared to speak whenever.
Yes, please do. Please use the mic. Yeah.
Hi. Yes, folks, I'd like to say that, in my opinion, our LSB has not really done its job with regard to our financial oversight responsibilities. In our Pacifica bylaws, in Article 7, Section 3, which basically is what tells this LSB what our job is, the very first point is point A, to review and approve that station's budget and to make quarterly reports to the Foundation Board of Directors regarding the station budget, actual income, and expenditures. I can say that, to the best of my recollection, we have never made a quarterly report to the Foundation's Board of Directors regarding the station's budget, actual income, and expenditure. And I can say that if WBAI were in perfect financial health, if everything was going great, we didn't have month-long fund drive, layoffs weren't hanging over people's heads, perhaps that sort of lack of attention to our job would be okay. If everything's going fine, you don't need to mess with it. But in the state that WBAI is in now, I think it is unacceptable that this elected LSB does such a poor job of financial oversight. And I can also say that as I've been a member of the Finance Committee more or less for the past four years. We're supposed to get monthly income and expense statements that are prepared by the National Office of Pacifica Foundation on the Finance Committee. So we can track how well WBAI is doing compared to its budget. In this year, I believe that the most recent such statement that we've gotten is from December 2006, at least through the Treasurer and the Finance Committee, which is the proper channel where financial information should come to this LSB. So this LSB has not even been given the raw material to do financial oversight, to track whether we've been meeting our targets or not. You know, some of us do have other access to these documents, and we get them and we provide them to people, which is something that I have done. I have posted these reports to the Finance Committee Yahoo group as a regular member of the Finance Committee. But I believe that it's really the Treasurer's responsibility to get this information out there. So one thing I will promise you, if you elect me to serve as your treasurer, I will make sure that we get the raw information that we need to make our reports.
Okay, you're coming near the end of your time, Dave.
Okay, so I look forward to you electing me. Thanks.
Help with these elections that we're having tonight? Can somebody help to distribute the ballots and assist Marquez in counting them? We have one more? Okay, yes, please. Here are the ballots. There should be,
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 19. There should be 5 left over. One to each person.
all right, Bob is now going to speak on behalf of Baruti.
Okay, yes, Baruti apologized that he couldn't be here tonight. He had another commitment. I just want to say that Baruti, who is a CPA, by the way, has been extremely diligent as treasurer to make sure that this board could get all the financial information that is available to us. And I think he's done an excellent job of that. There have been times when he came ready and armed with his materials to pass out, and because of this board not being able to get through its business, we didn't even get that far. But on other occasions, and the consistent problem that the Finance Committee has had, and I'm also on the Finance Committee, is that the interim general managers, two in succession, and the business manager have often not been cooperative in providing the kind of data that we are required to have as a board. And that Baruti has made repeated and very diligent attempts to get that information, and has often gotten a lot of it, not necessarily all the monthly statements that should be obtained. But that's really been his hallmark, is to make every possible effort to gather the information. More than that, what Baruti has led us through each year with the budget is a very rigorous process of careful line-by-line analysis of the budget, questioning assumptions, challenging whether everything has been thought through, whether, for instance, the pension amounts are really the proper calculation, whether the vacations have been taken into account. And as a result of that process that Baruti has led, we have actually discovered serious errors in management's calculations that management conceded were errors and that they corrected, and that resulted in people getting the amount of money coming to them for pensions, or that the amount that was needed to be budgeted for vacations was there. So I think that Baruti's track record is extremely clear. He's been a diligent treasurer. He has the energy to continue to do that. And let's also remember that part of this job is sitting on the National Finance Committee, which is a very time-consuming job. That Baruti has been at every single meeting, sometimes every 2 weeks, for hours on the phone at night, trying to look at the national picture of Pacifica's finances, which he's done with a great deal of energy. So I would just urge people to return Baruti to continue doing the fine quality job that he's been doing for the past 3 years.
Thank you, Bob. We have a volunteer now collecting the ballots. Has everybody filled out his or her ballot? Basically, you only need one name here.
Probably.
The next item is the election of an ad hoc committee to elect a community advisory board. We need 5 members of this committee, as I recall from the motion that we passed some meetings ago. Yes, 3. Yes, we're opening nominations.
I'd like to, a nomination, sir?
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Nia Dadiaco.
You accept, Nia? All right. The ad hoc committee to elect a community advisory board, back there.
Madam Chair, I have a point of information.
Yes,
Do we have a size for this committee?
yes, 5 people, 5 members.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. It's not very arduous, basically. All the committee has to do is to approve, actually, most of the work has already been done from the last time, approve a card to be played and how applications will be received. Applications have already been designed, and then it's just a matter of getting that out, and then selecting from among the people who applied for the community advisory board those who will sit on the board. Okay, so we have Nia has been nominated. Nia?
I'd like to nominate Ray LaForest.
Ray, do you accept? Any more nominations? Yes, Bob?
I nominate Pacifica Foundation.
Okay. Anyone else? We need two more. Yes, Nia?
I'd like to nominate Berta Silva.
Berta, do you accept? Gracias. Anyone else? Anyone else? We need one more. We need one more member. Yes, Nia?
I'd like to nominate Serene Roberts. Nominate.
Serene?
Oh, joy.
Yes? You accept? All right. All right. Any more? We need 5 members. We have 5 nominations. Any more? All right. I'm going to take out the ballots. Nominations are closed then. Without further ado, I'm going to take the ballots out, and we will distribute them and have them take. People will rank folks in the order that they want, and we will get those collected.
Why vote if there are only 5?
So it's required by the bylaws.
Point of information,
Yes.
if I may.
Yes.
This community advisory board, that's people that we have those applications on the website who want to be, what is this?
No, that's the committee of inclusion. The community advisory board is required by the CPB. We're required to have one. And basically what they're tasked to do is to do a survey of what our, who the community is that we ought to be serving and how well we're serving them. Essentially what the old LAB was. It's not a governance committee. They cannot have anything to do with governance.
Point of information.
Yes,
Who
Andrea.
who are these people who would be elected?
We don't know yet.
Members of
We,
the community.
members of the community.
Oh.
Yes, Bob.
Well, I can clarify what the process was last time, that there was an application put out on the website and announced on the air in a cart, and people were invited to apply. And there were some criteria listed in the application, and then this ad hoc committee would then choose from among the applicants the number. I believe the number that we set in our motion was 12, right, with diversity criteria included.
Point of information.
Yes, Andrea.
Is if we want to accept CPB funding that we elect this committee. It's not required unless you want CPB funding. That's why we're elected.
And it's required in the bylaws as far as I know. It's required in the it's a requirement in the bylaws.
It's not.
I will
It makes
find
very
the bylaws.
Clear, excuse me, it makes very clear in the bylaws that if you want to accept CPB funding, you elect a CAB, but you're not required to have one.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, this is correct, but that would have to be decided by the PMB. If the PMB decided on other bodies.
All right, here it is.
Each station.
I will read the applicable bylaw.
Thank you.
Section 3, specific powers and this is Article 7, local station board. Section 3, specific powers and duties. K, to perform community needs assessments. Or see to it that separate community advisory committees are formed to do so.
Right, but it's not required by the CPB unless.
We're having the conversation that would have been had we had it when we passed the motion to form the CAT. So that's already done.
Excuse me, I'm just correcting a piece of information that you delivered.
Oh.
This is not required by
All right, but a point of
CPB
information is a question.
unless you want CPB.
Point of information is a
Oh,
question.
sorry. A clarification, point of clarification. It's not required unless you want CPB funding.
Right, we're going to move on. We have 5 nominees. Can I have one of our volunteers to distribute the ballots, please? Or maybe we need new volunteers. William, do you mind? Will you do the honors? Thank you, William. All right. The next item on the agenda is the motion to rescind the election of the vice chair. And who is bringing that motion? The motion to rescind the election of the vice chair.
I am.
Okay. Could you please, do you have copies of it you could pass out?
Oh, sorry. Is there already?
I'm going to repeat the names of the 5 nominees since it's now some time since they were nominated. Okay, as soon as everybody has their ballot, I'll repeat the names of the 5 nominees. Okay, does everybody have a ballot now?
Yes.
Okay, the 5 nominees are as follows: Nia Bediaco, Ray LaForest, Roger Kilgour, Berta Silva, and Serene Roberts. Just rank them in whichever order you like. All right, does everybody have a copy of the, I'm going to reset this. Everybody have a copy of the motion to rescind the election of Kathy Davis as vice chair? I'm going to read it, and then Ray, you'll motivate it.
Please.
Whereas pursuant to the Foundation's bylaws, Robert's Rules of Order, and the advice of Pacifica's attorney, the WBAI Local Station Board met and began officer elections on December 27, 2007 at the Martin Luther King Jr. Labor Center, during which session Kathy Davis was declared vice chair, and whereas shortly after the end of the legally constituted meeting, Kathy Davis and others making public claim to being the local station board moved to another venue, where Davis participated fully and was nominated and elected vice chair of the mock local board, which is in violation of the bylaws and Robert's Rules of Order. Resolved that the WBAI local station board hereby rescinds its selection of Kathy Davis as vice chair of the body. Ray?
Point of order, Madam Chair.
Yes.
The motion is defective on its face here because it says she was selected. She was in fact, she said she was declared vice chair. She was elected. There was an election. Remember? There was an election. She won the election.
Okay. Well, this hasn't been
So
seconded
she was
yet.
elected.
Ray, do you agree to change to selection to election in the last paragraph? Just change selection to election.
Declared. It's the first paragraph.
The first paragraph
Yes, it's declared vice.
was elected. You want, and was elected.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Point of information.
Yes.
Is the chair allowing people to make their motions after they have been given?
If a motion has not yet been seconded, changes can be made without having to go through that whole rigmarole. But once it's been seconded, they do. You're welcome. All right.
I second the motion.
It's now been seconded. Thank you, Sydney. It's now been moved and seconded. Ray, will you please speak to your motion?
Well, Calvin has to be brief.
Point of information. Is this something for discussion?
I understand that one member didn't care to surrender his ballot. Could you please, even if it's blank, give it so that we don't have another extra ballot floating around here from possible subsequent elections? Thank you. Okay. All right, I'm at, yes?
Is this something for discussion now?
No, Ray has to motivate his motion.
Okay, actually, this is a motion where the arguments are already spelled out in the motion itself, and they're pretty clear. As stated here, we met on December 27 in what I consider as a legitimate meeting of the board. And since there has been a discussion about whether the meeting was proper or not, some of us took the trouble of discussing it with the Pacifica attorney, who ended the decision and gave an opinion that indeed this was a legitimate meeting. During that meeting, Kathy accepted to be to run for the position of vice chair and be elected to that position, and later that the same day took part in a very improper and illegal meeting during which she, in effect herself, reneged her first election by participating in a meeting that declared that the first meeting was illegal. Also, besides that position that she took, I remember specifically that at some point in an effort to maybe legitimize this meeting, one of the members of those participating headed, the three of us who were there, namely Bob Lederer, myself, and Nia Bidiako, ballots for us to vote. And besides us, I think that Bob Lederer specifically stated that we would not accept those statements, those ballots, because this meeting was illegal. And Kathy said that, well, as illegal as the first meeting that took place earlier. So clearly, based on their position, I think that this would be very proper. Kathy's attitude about this is that she doesn't recognize the legitimate debate and activities of this board, and therefore should be removed from that position.
Okay, I'm going to call on Kathy next because this is about her. Kathy, please, would you please care to speak?
I certainly don't have anything pre-prepared to speak. I consider this to be simply an attempt to shut down any kind of opposition due to the first case when the board tried to create a special meeting in the interim, and I opposed it. And at the end of that opposition, I got a note from Vajra saying, well, this will end, or something to that effect. A couple of days later, I see this, and I feel that this is very much related to that incident. I feel that the meeting that took place, that's being referred to here, was open. It was announced openly. Everyone was invited to be there. And as a representative of WBAI, as a representative of the staff, I have every right to participate in this meeting and anything else that goes along with the other board members. And yes, I chose to do so.
Madam Chair, I have a point of information.
Yes, that's a question, right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
This,
Can you use the mic, please?
I guess this is for Ray. Ray, this motion says.
Or you please address the chair.
Okay, the motion says the meeting, which is in violation of the bylaws and Robert's rules. Could you could somebody explain why it was in violation of the bylaws and Robert's rules? Thanks.
Ray?
Well, my interpretation of the bylaws and also another one that was included in a decision by not only the PNB, the attorney, but later by the PNB, and maybe current members of the PNB might want to expand on that, was that this would be a board that would not exclude the participation of any member of the elected member of the local board. Whereas the committee that met later specifically decided that anybody whose term who had not been, had expired could not participate. And therefore, at the maximum, would allow more than 12 people. That is the reason.
Point of information.
Yes, Kathy?
When was that? What is that you're referring to the PNB? Was that the PNB meeting that just took place?
Actually,
No.
I believe he's referring to the letter from Pacifica's legal counsel, which was read. No, the chair is answering a point of information, which is perfectly proper. A letter from from Pacifica's legal counsel that was read aloud and distributed at the December 27th meeting.
Oh, it's contained within the motion. It's
Contained within the motion that was passed recently by the Pacifica National Board. I'm going to go from one side to the other here. That motion was passed more recently, but the opinion of the legal.
Was the motion passed after the meeting?
Yes.
Well, how are you going to penalize me for a motion that passed weeks after the meeting took place?
I'm going to ask Bob to clarify.
Of course.
Please come to order.
Of course.
Please come to order.
Of course it did. I know.
You're
it
out
did.
of order. This is all out of order.
Okay.
Yeah, it
So,
So the
what we
bias
have,
is clear.
Please come to order.
what happened is that now that the member has a copy in front of her, she can see that on Thursday, December 27th, Dan Siegel sent the Pacifica National Board his legal opinion, which answered the question, in light of the delay in the conclusion of the election for WBAI delegates and LSB members as a result of a lawsuit brought by several members, shall the current sitting LSB members and delegates, including those elected in 2004, remain in office until their replacements have been elected and certified? And then he writes, my answer is that all current WBAI delegates and LSB members shall remain in office and carry out the responsibilities of their positions until the replacements have been seated. And then he goes on to cite as the backing for that a series of citations from the Pacifica bylaws, including the one that says that the LSB shall consist of the 24 delegates elected, and other points, including Robert's rules and so on. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Are you saying that this is a legal opinion or more than a legal opinion?
This was a legal opinion by Pacifica's legal counsel. Now, subsequently, based on that opinion, the board adopted a formal motion that said that the Pacifica National Board determines that in order to be properly constituted, a meeting of a local station board or an assembly of delegates must allow for the full participation of all 24 elected delegates, including those who are serving until their successors have been seated,
Point of
pursuant to,
information.
excuse me, I'm speaking, pursuant
Point
to
of
a
information.
certification.
No, you can't interrupt him, but if he's not willing, a point of information does not take precedence. Please allow him to finish.
Point of
Pursuant,
personal privilege.
No.
I just want clarity on when this motion was made.
it was made on January 18th, 2008. Now, so pursuant to a certification of the most recent delegate election.
Please come to order.
And then the second point is the Pacifica National Board will only recognize actions, resolutions, and election results arrived at in the above stated manner. And then in the follow-up to that was that at the National Board meeting in Newark at the end of the month, it rejected a motion to seat the people who had been quote-unquote elected at the quote-unquote LSB meeting, what I consider the fake LSB meeting that met at the coffee shop, of which Kathy Davis was one of those people who was put forward to have a seat on the Pacifica National Board. So that's the chronology, and I think it's clear that the Pacifica National Board was ratifying the recommendation and the opinion of its council.
Did the motion say it was ratifying, or did it just pass as a separate motion? I want actual clarity.
Yes.
And I want it on the record.
As you see in front of you, it says, whereas Mr. Siegel's opinion cites the following authority. So it's directly based on Dan Siegel's opinion, and that's included in the whereas clauses. So it's quite explicit.
Okay, I'm gonna call on Alex, he's had his hand up for quite some while. And then Sarah.
Your claim is quite explicit,
Please,
it's not.
please come
It
to
says
order.
whereas.
Please come to order. Alex,
Okay,
So how is that?
I just want to point out that the fact that the Pacifica National Board
please come to order. Alex is speaking, please allow him to speak. Everybody, please come to
The
order.
fact-
Please allow, Alex has the floor.
The fact that the Pacifica National Board voted to agree with a legal opinion presented by Dan Siegel, does not mean that opinion is correct. And furthermore, the Pacifica National Board does not have the authority to override the bylaws. And our contention is and has been that this body, as currently constituted, is not a legal body. You cannot have expired delegates voting and calling themselves members of the local station board. And that is a matter of opinion at this point, but it is a matter that will be adjudicated sooner or later in a court of law. And you are trying to retroactively
Please come to
punish
order.
a member who believed that she was acting according to the bylaws in accepting the position of chair and in accepting the contention that the expired delegates should not be allowed to vote at a meeting of the local station board. I continue to believe that that is the correct position, and to quote this resolution that says that the body composed of the unexpired delegates is a mock body, I would answer that I mock this body. This is not a legally constituted body.
No, Sarah, I'm going to recognize Sarah, and then we're coming to the end of our time. Sarah had her hand up, I'm going to recognize Sarah, yes? We are coming to the end of our time. Sarah is recognized, she has the floor. Please give her the courtesy of allowing her to speak uninterrupted.
Once Dan Siegel's decision was handed out to everyone on this board,
Please come to order.
Sarah, once Dan Siegel's opinion was handed out to everyone on this board on November 27th, including November 27th, December 27th, including Kathy Davis. And I heard, please don't interrupt.
Please do not
It was given to
interrupt.
everyone here. Once I heard that Kathy Davis had accepted to be an officer of a grouping that met at a diner and declared itself as a counter to this board, I, in all honesty, could not see how Kathy Davis can serve as an officer on this board. And any objective person would agree that you cannot be an officer or hold any position on two diametrically conflicting boards. An officer is committed to upholding the functioning of the board to which they are elected. And the proper and correct thing to do, once you've accepted a position on the rump board, would have been to resign from the LSB. And the only choice...
We're coming to the end of our time, so Sarah, please wrap up, and please come to order. Please allow her to finish uninterrupted.
Kathy has not resigned from this. Would be, the only proper thing is to seek her replacement. And I think this resolution is extremely important because you cannot be on two boards. You accepted one position later that night, and that invalidates the position to which you were elected here, in all honesty.
All right, we're at the end of our time for this.
I move to extend.
There's a motion to moved and seconded.
Move to extend
It's been
for 10
moved and
minutes.
seconded to extend for 5 minutes.
I move 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes. All those in favor of extending by 10 minutes, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that does not carry.
I move to extend for 5 minutes.
There's a motion to extend by moved and seconded. Is that two people raising it at once count as seconding? Okay. All those in favor of extending by 5 minutes, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. All right. 5 minutes.
Are you gonna?
I'm going to call on.
Point of order, Madam Chair. It's traditional to say who's against it.
All right. Who is opposed? I'm sorry. All opposed to extending by 5 minutes. All right. It's unanimous. Whatever. Without opposition. All right. I'm going to call on our Paul.
Yeah, well, I guess we should go through the motions here. I agree with Ms. Davis about what's really going on here and about the suppression of opinion that yeah.
Please, there are two Ms. Davises. Could you please be clear about which you're...
I agree with Kathy Davis, the current vice chair of this and maybe other bodies, I don't know. I agree with her in terms of what's really going on here. It is to suppress any opposition. You can't have any dissent, otherwise it's liable to make it, you'll have questions asked, and there are people here who can't stand up to a lot of questions. This motion here, besides the first defect we found in it, talks about, it violates Robert's rules. There are no citations here. Also, Dan Siegel rendering an opinion. He's supposed to be the interim executive director. He's not supposed to be the legal counsel. He is supposed to have vacated that position. If he's giving legal opinions as the interim executive director, he's violating his job. He's not supposed to be acting as the interim executive director and as the legal counsel. I mean, at that point, he can just say, you know, I hereby tell you all that as legal counsel, I'm saying the interim executive director can do whatever he pleases. It can stay in as long as he pleases. Would everybody accept that? I don't think so. And so Dan Siegel, I question his motives in this entire thing. And finally, I will say this. It's pretty bizarre to start saying that an opinion handed down by the PNB in January is something that that Ms. Kathy Davis should have known about in December. That's absurd. You're punishing somebody for an ex post facto decision by a group that, in my opinion, made a wrong decision.
Lisa, Lisa, very little time. Lisa had her hand up.
Madam Chair.
Lisa has the floor. Lisa Davis has the floor. Please come to order. Please come to order.
Madam Chair, the bylaws were certainly in effect before the PMB passed that motion. And the bylaws say that you have to have 24 members on the local station board. And I would also like to remind people under Section 5, Article number 4, where the bylaws, now they are talking about quorum, but they specifically define delegates here when they say then those delegates whose terms would have expired upon the election of new delegates. That is defining delegates right there. That delegates' term expires upon the election of new delegates. That's in the bylaws, clear. And it gives you an example in the quorum in terms of, for whatever reason, if you can't meet quorum, then those delegates would continue in office, but no matter what. The operative phrase here, those delegates whose terms would have expired upon the election of new delegates, plain and simple English. And I would also say, for those people who think this board is illegal, then why are you sitting here? You don't have to participate in it. You really don't have to. And if you participated in another board and said this one was illegal, then that says everything right there. So you don't have to participate in this board if you think it's illegal.
All right, I'm going, anybody on this side who hasn't spoken yet? Carolyn.
Please come to order. Allow people to speak.
Yes, would the chair please bring the members to order? Really, it's disruption. It is on. Very good, thank you. Yes, the member of the audience. I'm very disturbed at this attempt. I'm feeling that I've entered down the rabbit hole here, claiming post facto rules to prove prior actions. This is bizarre. It's also ridiculous. The fact that you would actually accept an opinion from a so-called corporation counsel who is supposed to be acting as IED and not supposed to be giving legal opinions and is doing so quite illegally is another problem, that you don't even question that. And I would like to see some citations. Violation of the bylaws and Robert's Rules of Orders. There are no citations in this motion, which is appropriate. And the whereases have nothing to do with it. I think that this is another indication of the harassment of the majority faction on this board of people who dare to express any disagreement with them. And I object totally to
Boom. All right, we have 8 seconds on Mawali.
Please use a mic.
I just wanted to support what Lisa Davis raised concerning if you have a principle, then you should put your body where your mouth is. And if something is not what you think it should be, and you have a principled position, then you should go do what you did before. Go meet in a restaurant and have your own board. First point. Second point, once again, the question of principle gets raised about the elected majority of this board, when in fact one of the minority members of this board called the police on Father Lucas at the Harlem State Office building and said he was carrying a gun.
Oh my God.
Would you please stick to the...
What scum?
But
what racist scum?
Point of information, Robert's incorrect. He was carrying a gun.
All right.
excuse me, called the police on Father Lucas
Point of
in
information,
Harlem,
correction.
which could have led,
Information is a question.
which could have led, which could have led, which could have led, which could have led to an, which could have led, which is, well, the person who wants to interrupt me is certainly the one who called the police. But I think everybody should know that she called the police on Father Lucas,
Time
which
is
could
up.
have cost him
Time
his
is
life.
up. All right, our time is up. Our time
I've
is
always
up.
raised that.
Point of personal privilege.
Socialist.
Point of personal privilege. Our time is up for this item.
Cop lovers.
Time is up for
Miss
this.
Socialist.
Cop
Our
lovers.
time is up.
Racist cop
Our time is up, please. No, please come to order.
Racist cop lovers go to hell.
Order, please come to order. Personal privilege. Please come to order. Point of personal privilege. Yes. What are you?
Oh, you know what the arrangement for me to be is?
Go back in your cage!
Miss
I'm
Theocracy?
sorry, please take your seat.
She knows I'm in hell.
All
That's
right.
interesting.
Point of personal privilege. I did not hear a name mentioned,
Put
but I
that
don't
on
know
your
what the
show.
point of
I'm in
personal
hell.
privilege is.
Point of personal privilege is that I called the security guards at the
That's
state office
it.
building. not the
There's a
police.
point of order.
And
There's a point of order, Carol.
Was indeed carrying a gun.
Rasputin!
Please
And we
come
should
to order.
always protest.
Carolyn, there is a point of order.
First,
Yes.
the member out of order, she was not recognized, and secondly,
She was.
it cannot be a point of order, she was not named.
She,
If her conscience
the
is
point of
clear-
personal privilege, she was not named, that's true, and I said that, yes. This is over, no, the time is exhausted, this is coming to a vote. We're voting on the following, I'm going to read the motion again, and then we're going to vote, please come to order. Where's,
Move for a roll call vote?
it's been moved for a roll call vote, if there's no objection, there'll be a roll call vote. Motion to rescind election of Kathy Davis as vice chair, whereas pursuant to the foundation's bylaws, Robert's Rules of Order, and the advice of Pacifica's attorney, the WBAI local station board met and began officer elections on December 27, 2007 at the Martin Luther King Jr. Labor Center, during which session Kathy Davis was elected vice chair, and, please come to order, whereas shortly after the end of the legally constituted meeting, Kathy Davis and others making public claims to being the local station board moved to another venue where Davis participated fully and was nominated and elected vice chair of the mock local board, which is in violation of the bylaws and Robert's Rules of Order. Resolved that the WBAI local station board hereby rescinds its election of Kathy Davis as vice chair of the body. All those, oh no, we're having a roll call vote.
Madam Chair?
I have an objection.
Point of order. We're ending in hell.
In the middle of the vote.
We
Hasn't started.
Hasn't started yet.
We're out of time for this item. The vote is beginning.
Oh, Kathy Davis.
We're out of time, Madam.
I have
Her
a
Holiness.
I have a point of order.
So what's the point of order?
The resolution illegitimately characterizes a body as a mock board. I don't think that should be there.
All right, that discussion belonged earlier. Will the secretary please call?
I think you did raise that point earlier. Please call the roll.
Daniaka?
Yes.
Burden?
Absolutely not.
Borenstein?
Yes.
Brooks, yes. Clay? Yes.
Please, people, please, limit yourself to voting
Davis.
yes or no.
Lisa Davis?
Yes.
Fishman?
No.
Flounders?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
You believe in hell, Kathy?
This is.
LaForest,
Yes. Ooh, dragging Staten Island now. That's clever of you.
please come to order.
Yes.
Martin?
Hell no.
He moved it out.
Rose? Robert?
It's only reasonable, yes.
Ross?
Given that Kathy is the best person on this board, I say.
That's true, she is. Compared
Silva?
Yes.
Amen.
Steinberg?
Absolutely not.
Praise the Lord. Lord Jesus. This love. Jesus. Satanic communism.
We have 11 yes and 7 no.
Okay.
We are now at, all right.
Point of
no,
order,
the
Madam
next-
Chair?
The next item on the, yes.
Madam Chair, I say this would require a 2/3 vote because it Again, we have cited this at the last meeting,
God has
that you are in
spoken.
fact trying to remove someone as an officer, and Robert's Rules, pages 642 and 43, say that requires
God has
two-thirds.
Okay,
There actually, it does not require a majority by a two-thirds vote.
where's my, all right. Section 5, which is section 5 of? Article 7, local station board, section 5, election of officers. Each local station board shall
Madam
elect a
Rescue.
chair, vice chair, recording secretary, and a treasurer, who shall be elected annually at the December meeting of the LSB for a term of 1 year using the instant runoff voting method. Each of these officers shall serve at the pleasure of the local station board, and shall have those powers and shall perform those duties as may be prescribed by its LSB. At the pleasure would seem to indicate to me that a majority vote is perfectly sufficient. And as you know, the bylaws override Robert's Rules of Order at every turn. I will read to you the applicable part of the bylaws that points that out, because I know that sometimes people get confused. The rules contain, Article 16, parliamentary procedure. The rules contained in Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, as amended from time to time, shall govern the foundation in all cases where they are applicable and in which they are not inconsistent with these bylaws. So there it is. Officers serve at the pleasure of the board. The board wouldn't even necessarily have to give a reason. Just, there it is. It's a majority vote.
I appeal the ruling of the chair.
It's been moved and seconded to appeal the ruling of the chair. I'm going to reiterate what I've just said. I don't want to be too repetitive, and I want to keep this. We had the vote. I have cited Section 5, election of officers. Officers serve at the pleasure of the board. The pleasure of the board is a majority vote, and that's it.
Another illegality.
Okay. Yeah, another application of the bylaws. Yes.
Another illegality.
Please come to order.
I'll keep it short too. The bylaws and the Robert's Rules of Order are supposed to work together. Now, the thing is that the bylaws do make a certain citation regarding our officers, and on page 643 of Roberts, it says if it starts off, the bylaws provide that officers shall serve for some number of years or until their successors are elected. The election of the officer in question can be rescinded and a successor can thereafter be elected. If, however, the bylaws provide that officers shall serve only a fixed term, such as, quote, for 2 years, unquote, which is not a recommended wording, or if they provide that officers, etc., well, our bylaws provide exactly that. Our bylaws are worded in this way, which Roberts does not recommend. So, therefore, I contend that when it says at the pleasure of, it also has to take into account how the bylaws interact with Robert's Rules of Order. Robert's Rules says that if in the bylaws you phrase it in this certain way, then you can't do it by a majority vote in any way. You have to do it 2/3. Our bylaws phrase it exactly that way, and therefore I say we cannot do it by a majority, we have to do it by a 2/3.
Anyone else? Let's keep this short. Can we keep this short a while, please? Briefly?
Yes, he's wrong.
I just want to answer, one All right, thank you. Okay, all right. Before it gets lost in the sauce, before we forget, all right, okay, fine. Before we forget, please come to order, everybody. Before we forget, or it gets lost in the sauce, the results of the WBAI LSP Treasurer election are that Baruti has won with 12 votes, Ross had 7, the ad hoc committee to elect a community advisory board, to the great surprise of all, elected Nia Serene, Berta Ray, and Vajra. Okay, Bob, yes.
Where in Robert's rules was he reading from? Where were you reading? What page?
642, 643.
Okay, Bob?
Point of information, what was the count on the Community Advisory Board, please? How many votes were there?
Oh, let's see, Nia had 6 first round votes, Serene had 3, Berta had 1, Ray had 1, Bajra had 1 first round
And
vote.
the total number of people voting?
Yes, I don't know, I'd have to open up the envelope.
Yes, but would you please have somebody do that? We need that.
Okay, I'm sure you do. All right, just to count the number of people who actually voted. Oh my Lord, have mercy. All right, Lisa, Bob.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, this isn't a close call, okay? This is common sense, all right? If you write a bylaw that says someone's elected, officers are elected for a 1-year term, and then the very next sentence says, each of these officers shall serve at the pleasure of the LSB, it's obviously saying that they serve for no longer than 1 year, but if something comes up in the middle of that year, or at the beginning, or at the end, or whenever, that the board decides, you know what, this isn't working out, this isn't how we intended this to go.
Point of information.
So, that they.
Yes, I do. Can you show me where it says all that?
Yes.
Yes, I'm speaking about Article 7, Section 5, election of officers. Okay, each of the officers shall serve at the pleasure
No,
of the
I'm not talking
LSB.
about LSB, I'm talking about your interpretation.
All right.
Bob, please, when Bob has the floor, please come to order.
So, first of all, it's a common sense thing that there wouldn't have been this clause put in there if there was any attempt, if there was any intent for anything other than to provide an ability for the board to change its mind during the year for whatever reason. That's number one. Number two is that on the question of 2/3 versus a majority, these bylaws are very explicit. When they want to require a supermajority, they say it, okay? To remove a member of this board, or a delegate rather, it takes a 2/3 majority. It is spelled out in the bylaws. To withdraw, to recall one of the people that we elect to the Pacifica National Board, it says very clearly, it takes a 2/3 vote, okay? That's a basic principle in any set of bylaws, that you specify what, whether there's a super majority required, and if not, then everything else is presumed to be a simple majority. That's in Robert's rules, it's in every bylaws that I've ever seen, and it's a principle that nobody would disagree with. So I think on those two grounds, it's very clear. And the final point is, I actually did some research on the internet. There are all kinds of boards of trustees of universities, school boards, and things like that that have similar language about officers serving at the pleasure of the board, and then that can be recalled based on a majority vote. So to me, this is a very clear-cut case where the majority is in order.
Okay. All those in favor of upholding the chair's ruling that it is in order to rescind the election of the vice chair by majority vote, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so the chair's ruling is upheld. We're going to move on to the election of the new vice chair. But I will tell you first that there were, with regard.
There's no notice for this election. Was there an election? Wasn't there a roll call vote?
There was a roll call vote, yes.
Doesn't there have to be a notice for this election?
I think the notice was inherent in bringing the motion to Bob, when you brought, Ray, when you gave notice that you were going to bring this motion, did you give notice that you would ask also for a new election at the same meeting? Yes? Yes. So notice was given, and the notice was originally given for the motion.
You're showing the minutes.
Okay.
Does the minutes say that? The minutes, Madam Chair.
There are 12 for the ad hoc committee to elect a community advisory board. There were 12. Are you paying attention? No. But I'll just say this anyway. 12 valid ballots and 7 invalid ballots. And please come to order. Please come to order.
I just got here, how can I come to order?
I'm not talking to you. I'm answering a question that was raised earlier. If the person who asked it would pay attention, she would have the answer. For the ad hoc committee to elect a community advisory board, there were 12 valid ballots and 7 invalid ballots.
Madam Chair, please.
Yes, Nia.
I'd like to make, nominations open, you said?
Yes.
I'm getting ready to move this thing.
All right, yes.
Okay, I'd like to nominate Father Lawrence Lucas.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Moved and seconded.
I
Yes.
don't understand, when was the notice given for this
guy with the
vote?
gun, right?
When he originally gave notice that he was bringing this motion.
I don't remember
Last
that.
meeting.
Is it in the minutes?
So yes, he did. His notice was,
Yeah, I think it was the last one.
and it's on the agenda. So therefore, we have a nomination on it. It's been nominated and seconded, Father Lawrence Lucas. Any other
You have a
nominations?
black man with a gun? That's outrageous.
Any other nominations?
Why bother? Why bother having other nominations? You're just
Are there any
back
further
to get
nominations?
elected.
If not, nominations are closed.
Not
And
like
Father
Robert
Lawrence
F. Williams.
Lucas is the nominee.
Without thinking
Does somebody,
twice.
is there somebody who can, yes?
I don't even know who Robert F. Williams is.
Please come to order. Please come to order, yes?
I would like to nominate Kathy Davis for the position of vice chair of the local study.
Boom!
Please,
Boom!
please come to order.
Boom!
Procedure, please.
No, I don't play procedure.
We
Yes.
have a member who's not only smoking but drinking.
Oh my God!
And
Is that-
the cigar
Oh,
smoke
Lord.
is really unpleasant.
Prohibition!
I have an allergy to that.
Carnation.
There's
something
Please,
broken in here, let's
please.
throw it out.
Please come to order and could you be so kind as
I want to
to,
testify like Elmer Gantry,
could you
like
please be so
Reverend Billy
kind
Hayes.
as, please,
Hallelujah! I'm swearing off drinking and smoking and all that evil stuff and black men with guns. My God!
please,
What's this
if
country
you
coming to? Praise the Lord! Hallelujah!
Please be so kind as to put the cigar away.
Oh my God, we can't have cigars in this free speech radio thing. Oh, Fidel Castro has a cigar. He's a communist. God damn it. Oh Lord. Oh Jesus. Save us. Save us from these evil communist satanic hell dwellers.
Please, if you don't feel that you can wait for public comment, please wait outside. All right.
Niet. Tovarish.
all right, we have, all right, we had, was,
Let us sing the International again above the din of this communist scum. Throwing black men with guns in jail.
Please come to order.
You compromise with these people. Why? For what?
all right, we have 2 nominees now on the, back to the bylaw that says that officers serve at the pleasure of the board. And should it be the board's pleasure now to elect that officer now, then that's it. Okay? All right, so we have 2 nominees on the floor, Father Lawrence Lucas and Kathy Davis. Kathy, do you want to speak? How about, let's say 2 minutes and somebody will speak on behalf of Father Lawrence Lucas? Is there somebody?
Tastes good.
Yes, okay.
I think I'll have some more. Oh, it's Kathy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Madam Chair, can you please call the audience member
Please
to
come
order?
to order. May I have a volunteer to hand out the ballots?
Yes.
Yes, the first time I was nominated for this position, I said that I was interested in fairness. Of course,
Madam
there is
Chair,
no
can you please call
fairness
the member of
to
the
be
audience
found
to
on
order?
this. There is no
Please don't
fairness.
shout out.
Well,
Please do
found
not,
on this
please
board.
do not contribute to the chaos.
order.
Please come,
Herr.
please come to order. Please, please come to order.
Nine.
All right,
Niet.
all right.
Oh, yes, we need the security guard on.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
yeah. You get that.
Kathy has the floor. Please allow her to speak.
Can we wait till he stops interrupting?
He has stopped, please let us go. Please, he has stopped, please let us go.
The first time I was nominated for this position, I did so because I wanted there to be some fairness and balance on this board, but of course that's not going to happen as it's currently constituted. All I had to do was present one contrary position, and after that, all the nails come out, all the biting comes out, and it becomes a problem to have any kind of opposing position on this board. So this board, as currently constituted, will result in no fairness.
Madam Chair, I have
Alderman
a
Wally
point
was
of
gonna
personal
speak.
privilege in the
Yes.
assembly.
Yes,
There's someone who's obviously disrupting this meeting.
as long as he's
Something
not,
needs to be done about that.
as long as he's not shouting, I think we're fine.
So he can water out.
Please do not shout. Omawali, you're gonna speak on behalf of Father Lawrence Lucas?
Yes. Did you say walking around?
I've known.
Please come to order.
Madam Chair, we have a problem here. It is your duty as chair to make sure that things go on.
Madam Chair, you want somebody to dial 911
Please come
for
to
you? Is that what
order.
you're asking for? Is that what you're asking for?
Omawali has the floor
Thank
as
you.
long as.
Madam Chair, there's a
as long as
point of
he's not
privilege in
being-
the assembly. There's a point of privilege in the assembly, Madam
Sign
Chair. You
me a
have to
wild
deal with.
thing.
Please cease. And
Do
do
you
you
want 911 called or not? Is that what you want?
What?
Do you want 911 called? You got somebody who's
All rise, ye prisoners of
I understand that the member of the
salvation.
public is on his way out.
Rise, ye wretched of the
He's on his way
earth.
out.
For justice thunders condemnation. Behold, a better world's in birth. No more traditions chains shall bind us. Arise, ye slaves, no more in thrall. The earth shall rise from new foundations. We have been naught, we shall be all. Everybody now! 'Tis the final conflict. Let each stand in his place. The international, so be it, shall be the human race. This is the first anniversary of Sidney Smith beating me up, or trying to beat me up. He didn't really beat me up. You know what I'm talking about. Happy anniversary.
right,
All you
everybody.
anti-communist scum, go to hell.
Everybody please come to order now. All right. Omawali has the floor. Please come to order. Omawali has the floor.
Yeah,
Speaking on behalf of Father Lawrence Lucas.
Yeah, just very briefly that I've known Father Lucas for the past 30 years. Father Lucas is one of the most principled activists in.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, guess what I'm now? In the future, nobody out the audience come out there and come and get security. One of you guys got to come and get security. Because I don't want security to come in here and do something that the board member didn't authorize.
The board.
Thank you.
I don't know who, but somebody just say it wasn't nobody, it's somebody from, I don't know who, and I don't care.
It wasn't the chair.
Something that was not true.
Guess what?
All right.
I don't know who,
Thank
but
you.
I don't care.
Okay.
But guess what now? Anything happen? One of you guys, I know everybody.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, now,
I know.
Mr. Omawali, thank you very much. Omawali has the floor.
Yeah, the reflection of Father Lucas's love by the people in the city of New York and by his community and by his other constituents has been proven time and time again by the number of people who have come out and voted him to be a part of this board. Probably one of the highest vote getters that has been on this board, and certainly in its recent history. And so I think it's without precedent anywhere that we can say that we could find anyone better to serve as Father Lucas, as vice chair of this board. Proud to speak up for him. As folks know, he's recovering a little bit from ill health, but I talked to him yesterday. He's fired up and strong, and he'll be back here straight ahead.
All right.
Thank you. Everybody has ballots, can they be collected? So,
Can other people speak on behalf of the?
no.
That was very
All right, all right, the next item on the agenda is excused absences. Yes, Nia.
Excuse Father Lucas.
Father Lawrence Lucas. Any other excused absences? Going once?
Madam?
Yes? Yes.
Motion to excuse Berthold Reimers and Patty Hepburn.
Okay. Berthold Reimers and Patty Heavily.
Any more?
So you're gonna do it?
Any more?
Steve Brown.
Steve Brown.
Mitchell Cohen.
Oh, Mitchel Cohen is ill tonight.
Mitchel Cohen. All those in favor of excusing Father Lawrence Lucas, Berthold Reimers, Patty Heffley, Steve Brown, and Mitchel Cohen of excusing their absences, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All opposed? 1, 2.
Okay, so that's 15-2.
The next item on the agenda is public comment, which we already seem to have had quite a bit of tonight, but let's just have our 15 minutes of public comment.
I would like to say just to begin with that if the PNB and the local station board don't question the opinions of a man who has repeatedly broken the law, most recently this last week, I think they are letting themselves in for a lot of difficulty further down the line.
Who are you referring to?
Dan Silverman. Okay, now, my name is Frank Lefevre. I'm one of the plaintiffs in the suit that you may know about, and I'd like to point to some constructive things that are happening here. We were told in informal negotiations before seeing the judge that Pacifica has been kind of screwed up for many, many years. It's not the first time that we've had problems with the elections. Why make such a big deal about it? Well, our position is it is time that somebody made a big deal of it and put an end to repeated screw-ups. If we had not instituted our injunction, then the plan was to close the elections while still preventing something like 25% of the staff and an untold number of listeners from voting. These are people who have repeatedly requested ballots and not received them. Now, they say that they took care of that problem by extending the election period 1 week. First of all, they had no legal basis for extending the election. And secondly, that was an obvious lie because they did not send out ballots to some of these people until the end of that extended period. Indeed, some ballots were sent out after the end of the extended period, November 23rd. And one of our plaintiffs finally, get this, not just anybody, but one of the plaintiffs finally got her ballot yesterday. And we thought it was time to put a stop to this. People are unhappy all over the network about the way the election is handled. PNB resolutions don't seem to do it. I mean, they recommended strongly that first-class mailings be made. Indeed, first-class mailings before the election period just to straighten out the database and make sure we had correct addresses. Recommendations don't need zilch to these people. A court of law, however, might put them on the right track. So we're hoping that by putting our foot down, we will put an end to a continuous cycle of incompetence and malfeasance.
Unlike WBAI, the moon is going into full eclipse tonight, and I'm going home to see it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm gonna see it.
It's on right now.
It's on right now,
Yes.
Yeah, this was going to be my second subject, but as long as the feedback brought up the question, who the hell personally is responsible for us not getting our ballots? Something is fishy somewhere, and I'd like to know who, what, when, or why. Is it government interference? Is there a fifth column beyond Listprog? What's going on? Somebody come in with some information. And if you don't have it, then shut up. Please come in with the information. Anyway. I didn't get a ballot the first time around, and I didn't get a ballot the second time around. But I was able to vote by going in and picking up a ballot and voting and handing it in right then and there. Why didn't others do it? Why was this stopped? Why was this stopped? Why the hell did it start in the first place? I wish somebody would give me some answers. I really wish I knew. Anyway, my subject one was what's in a name? What's in a name or a name change? I suspect very little. Example, Lisprog changed to Ace. Whatever that's supposed to stand for. I know that snakes shed their skin, but you know what? They are still snakes. Has Lisprog changed their politics or their pressure to be disruptive at these LSB meetings with their nitpicking, photographing of persons not wanting to be photographed, also their seeming racism, their overall calling for the faction, again ignoring that they too are a faction. Oh God. Anyway, with the new executive director present this evening, I hope there will be calm and civility. Too late. Anyway, so as not to be possibly revolted at him at his first time out. Somebody tell me what A stands for, Martin.
Thank you, Martin. I'll try to answer a couple of things you brought up. Is this on?
Yes.
Okay. Martin, did you, you can just smile or let me know one way or another. Did you request a replacement ballot when you didn't get a ballot?
No. Do you want to know why?
No, you had your chance. The answer was no. Okay, the answer was no. Well, many people did request it. I did several times. I never got one. Obviously, the elections didn't work for me. I got my ballot only when I came to court. A number of people from Justice and Unity didn't get ballots either, according to their affidavits. Well, did you request ballots and you didn't get them? Okay, well, then you shouldn't have any complaints about the first plaintiffs who started the suit on your behalf, right?
No, because
the Warrens, the Warrens joined us trying to get into the suit, and Sarah Flounders et al. Tried to get on the suit, so certainly you should have nothing against the plaintiffs who brought the suit and tried to make this, and still are trying to make this, into a fair election. In fact, it really should have been a majority on the LSD that went to management at BAI and at Pacifica and demanded that people get their ballots as they're entitled to. If you did that, and I thank you, I commend you for doing it. Okay, I wasn't aware of your efforts, but nonetheless, your efforts didn't succeed, so we brought the suit. Let's see what else. I just want to say, with regard to legitimacy of boards, what is a board? It's a deliberative body that shares the thinking of its members. And on that basis, I have to say that since the majority JUC has been in power, it's been an illegitimate board because you have tried to squash your opposition. Most of the time you do it by proper procedure, I can't say no, but to remove someone who had been duly elected and to take up as much time as you did trying to remove her now and succeeding in remove her, what are you doing to help the station survive and the network survive? There's a big deficit this year, close to $300,000. What could you have done today, this evening, instead of the time you wasted taking a good person off?
Why point to them? There's another half over there.
But they're not in control, majority rules.
Please let, excuse me, please let him speak.
You did have your chance.
Next person.
Two things. Number one, I think by either regular mail or first-class mail, everyone should have gotten their ballot in the mail. It is not easy for many people to come into the station at 120 Wall Street to get their ballot. That's why there's a mail service, and that's why there are mailmen. And obviously a lot of people, I'm from Jersey, a lot of people I know have never received ballots. My second question is that if I'm to understand the flood of emails I've been getting, the election is not going to happen the 23rd. And I wonder if the station manager or anyone on the board is going to address that. Apparently, in the last legal action, the judge indicated that unless there's an assurance that everyone had a ballot, the election date of the 23rd was not valid. And I wonder whether anyone on the board, and I don't need to put the new station manager on the spot, but if anyone has any answers to that. And I think that's more important than a lot of the petty bickering that I've seen tonight.
Madam Chair? Could you provide?
The reason I
I'm
didn't
sorry, please come to order. This is public comment, that's all we're doing. Oh, if I may beg indulgence, I'm going to announce the results of the election. Father Lucas received 12 votes, Kathy Davis received 7. All right, Martin, please speak.
Okay, the reason why I didn't...
Oh, I'm sorry, Martin, can you let someone who hasn't spoken yet speak, and then you'll speak?
I didn't realize there was anybody else in line. Okay.
Thank you. Just like to say, I was at the court, and what was just said by this gentleman was not true, or the only thing that happened was that the judge decided that he took out his reference to picking the 23rd as the date. He didn't say anything about any requirements. It was all up to Pacifica. So it's all mischaracterized. I was there, I know.
Yeah. Isn't that always the way? Anyway, the reason why I didn't request a second ballot was somebody on the board had wind that I didn't get a ballot. And she called me directly and asked for me to corroborate my address, which I did. And I waited and I waited and I still didn't get a ballot. But by the third time, I came in. So that's why I didn't request a ballot the second time around. And you wouldn't let me answer you at that moment. Anybody else?
Yes, the Pacifica lawyer has been acting like the JUC lawyer in all practical respects. He has held audiences, conferences with them in the hallway, and when other people got too near, he took them into a private room to confer. He tried to bring in Mr. Hairwagon into the private negotiating room, which was certainly not proper. That was for the lawyers and the plaintiffs and defendants only. And since he was escorted out, I don't think he has the last word. And I don't think he has really read the final disposition of the judge. So definitely, what you read in the announcement posted on WBAI.org as of today anyway, they're false. There are a series of outright lies made by Dan Siegel and by election supervisors, which have been widely promulgated and picked up and used in JUC propaganda all over the place, which has really badly confused people. If you really want to see the exact terminology of the injunction, go to radioactivist.net.
Any further public comment?
I'll comment if there's time. But
There's time.
I'm appalled. I had posted on listenerforums.net about Amy Goodman. A woman wrote a letter into Ms. Magazine in which she said she didn't know how Ms. Magazine didn't have the foresight and the intelligence and the decency to put Amy Goodman into the magazine in a featured article. I assume everybody raised their hand here and say they like Amy Goodman. I have my differences with her to the point that instead of calling it democracy now, you might say it's hypocrisy now with me. But the point is, I don't want to talk that way. She does a lot of good work, and I think her life is in danger as Barack Obama's life is in danger by even running, because there are KKK people in the world and there are CIA people, and I don't know how Amy stays alive and I don't know how Barack stays alive. I did vote for him. Now I have to check if my vote came in. I hear that some districts in Harlem, he didn't get one vote. That sounds pretty impossible. So as far as the elections, as far as everything, I want to see the medical reports on Bernard White, because the intersection of his illness with the new station manager, Anthony Riddle, is so amazing that I can't believe that. But I wish him the best. I have prostate seeding and I'm still going strong. I'm sad that we are all so plagued with things. I'm not sure that Father Lawrence Lucas is really ill. He has a very bad record in my recollection of coming here. Maybe he's only missed 2 times, but that seems more than that. The upshot is that he demeaned me on the radio about freedom of speech when he said it's in the Constitution just so that the government can't stop the government people from freedom of speech. When freedom of speech is the nature of our society, if we're not a bunch of evil people, liars and cheats and everything like that, and dishonest, not telling the truth. Mr. Heerwagen may have been there and he got his impression. Doesn't mean what he said is the full story. I really can't make sense of what he even said. But the point is, he seems like a nice man. You all seem like nice people. But I came to WBAI because I thought it would save the world, and I thought the people who came to support it would be great people. And the world has gone down, and Mitchel Cohen says that the poles are going to get uniced. I mean, we are in for, there's no turning back, as guests said tonight. So the upshot of everything is, one of these days I will die. I hope you'll all read what I wrote about Amy Goodman, because there's got to be a reason that Ms. Magazine did not put her into the magazine. They just had, prior to the latest issue, a 35th anniversary issue, and that's what the letter was, that why couldn't Amy Goodman be included? Well, it was one person's talking about people, women in the media, but why didn't that person acknowledge Amy? So this, I don't know what's happening. WBAI doesn't get any press. I don't know, except, with Robert Scott Adams and Andrea Clark. Maybe that was even done to try and...
Could you wrap it up, please,
yes,
Monroe?
Maybe that was just done to stimulate the Post's readership and the Daily News readership to look into WBAI. So maybe that's why it happened. I can't believe that Mr. Adams had to invite Andrea to the hotel room at 1 in the morning.
All right, this is public comment. This is public comment. Thank you very much. If there's no further public comment, we're going to move, well, there's 15 more minutes of public comment. That is for the public. If there's no further public comment, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which will not be the interim general manager report. The Finance Committee, is there any report? Yes.
I would like to provide prior notice to some resolutions I wish to introduce at the next meeting.
Okay. It's in order.
I would like to provide prior notice to a resolution that calls on recalling the chair of this body and having an election for a new chair at the next meeting. I would like to provide prior notice for a resolution recalling the vice chair of this body and having an election for the vice chair. I would like to provide prior notice for recalling the treasurer of this body and having an election for a treasurer. I would like to provide prior notice for recalling the secretary of this body and having a new election for a secretary. I would also like to provide prior notice for the suspension of a member of this body by the name of Serene Roberts. And I would furthermore like to provide prior notice for the rescission of the resolution establishing the programming committee, and another prior notice for the rescission of the resolution establishing the Management Evaluation Committee. Thank you.
Point of information?
Yes.
Are those separate motions? Is that just one?
Those will all be separate motions?
Those are all separate prior notices for separate motions that will be presented.
More disruption and
Please call this person to order.
Please come to order. All right, now.
The next item on the agenda, the Finance Committee, I guess the treasurer's not here. Is there somebody here who can report for the Finance Committee? Is anybody here who can report? Yes? James?
I have something I'd like to offer. As members of the Finance Committee, we are supposed to be getting reports that we're not getting, so I perhaps foolishly took it upon myself to speak to our business manager and see if she had MEMSIS reports that showed how well our recent drives had actually done. And I can report the results of these correct numbers here. The Fall 07 membership drive, whose goal was $850,000, which went on for 27 days, according to the true number entered in MEMSIS, actually raised a total of $800,431, making it $49,600 short of goal. I'd also like to point out that Pacifica's CFO and our very own treasurer have continually reported that this drive actually raised $817,000 in pledges, which actually is not true according to the numbers in MEMSIS. I'd also like to report that the Summer 07 drive, the true number entered as recorded in MEMSIS is $473,792 in pledges. And it has been reported repeatedly by the CFO and by our former interim general manager that this drive actually raised $513,000. Actually, no, $516,000. Actually, that $516,000 spurious total was actually used in the current year's budget. So our summer drive of 08, the goal was actually $516,000. So, providing some real information for the board to ponder as we attempt to do our financial oversight. Thank you.
Bob?
Well, first, I think it's interesting that the business manager provides information to one member of the committee, but not to the chair of the committee, who is supposed to get the information. It's been trying very hard to get it. But let me go on to, and also I think it's important to be aware that the figures that are given out for how a pledge drive did, as far as I'm aware, they come either from the business manager or up till now the interim general manager. So whatever errors have been made are their responsibility. I would like to make a motion that the next meeting of the Finance Committee be set by the treasurer after consultation with the new general manager, since it would be very important to have his presence at that meeting.
It's been moved and seconded that the next meeting of the Finance Committee be set by the treasurer after consultation with the new general manager. Is there any objection?
Well,
Well, you have a question, or?
I would like to add something to Bob's.
Yes, you have a question?
Yeah, since in the past we've had a little problem with prior notice, could we set some sort of a limit here so that we have at least one full week's notice for the entire committee to know about it?
Yes, okay.
So that would
Nia?
require a motion.
Nia?
I would like to move that
part of the next Finance Committee meeting, either on the same day or early in the day, whenever it's convenient, for the incoming general manager, for there to be an executive session to discuss financial issues.
Just to amend Bob.
All right, so what we have on the floor at present is a motion that the treasurer, after consultation with the new general manager, will set a date for the next meeting of the Finance Committee, making sure that there will be at least 7 days' notice for that meeting, and that the first part of that meeting will be an executive session.
Or the A part.
A part of that meeting will be an executive session. Is that okay? And A part of that meeting will be an executive session. Is there any objection? Hearing none? All right, without objection.
Chair, sorry, point of information. An executive session about why are the finances an executive session matter?
Yeah, this is actually.
I don't understand that.
Please allow Nia to clarify that. It was her motion.
To discuss payroll and personnel matters.
Oh, how many somebody made?
As you know, we're required by the bylaws that all personnel matters must be an executive session.
So we're revealing payroll, is that?
Yes, it would have to be an executive session, okay? All right. Any further report? No? Okay, so.
Yeah, I'd like to respond to a comment that a member made regarding the
Okay,
finance committee
quickly.
and how I happen to come into how I have reports that the treasurer actually has not seen fit to give to the finance committee or the board. You know, there's sort of an implication that something improper happened here. Actually, what happened is I went to the radio station like 10 days ago to answer phones for the fund drive, and while I was there, since these MEMSIS reports are something that we had been asking for through Rudy for months, I would go ask Indra to see if she had them, and she was there, and she said, yes, I have them, and I can give them to you. I'm sorry if taking such initiative, you know, makes people think that there's some sort of foul play or something, but I think it's a good thing. I'd be happy to share them with the rest of the committee when we actually meet, which we haven't done in quite some time.
Okay.
Oh, and let's see, one other bit of information, a finance type report. It was reported, let's see, as of this noon, that the pledge total for the current winter drive, which is in its 17th day, I believe, was $451,000. The goal for the current drive is $875,000, according to the budget we passed. The goal is now being reported to be $800,000. I don't know how that new number came to be, but in any case, we're unless pledges pick up over the last 10 days of the drive, we won't make either of those goals. And the drive is scheduled to end next Friday, February 29th, if I recall correctly.
March 1st, I believe.
Okay, thanks. Well, it was said, the report that, the letter that was sent out by Vera, well, I've seen two things. I've seen March 1st and February 29th.
Okay.
Do you know when it is? Do you know?
I've only seen March 1st.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay. Bob, did you want to say something? And then let's move on.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to clarify that my comment did not relate to any member of this board. It related to the business manager who, as the member said, has been, that Baruti, our treasurer, has been repeatedly attempting to get information from her. So it's interesting that it was finally provided to someone other than the treasurer.
Yeah, it's really
Okay,
amazing.
all right. We're going to move on. Please come to order. Please come to order. The next item on the agenda. The next item on the agenda is the next.
Wait.
If you want to be recognized, you must raise your
Madam Chair,
hand.
can I speak to this issue of how information gets from the business manager to the board? It's a financial, if our board
Yes,
is
you
suffering,
may.
in my
Quickly.
opinion, for want of lack of financial information, so this is a germane issue. Do you know, Bob, has Baruti gone to Indra's office and she said, no, I'm not going to give you these things? Or has he not gone to her office? Has he tried to, what sort of contact has been made? Because I just went to her office. I didn't schedule anything in advance.
It sounds
She
to
happened
me as
be there.
if this is a conversation you should be having with Baruti personally.
Well, Bob,
I can't see it.
Bob,
This letter is on the station.
Come to order. Please come to order. Please come to order.
What the hell's going on with this world?
Please come
Okay.
to order.
We have sat in, I don't know how many, probably 10 different committee meetings where Baruti has reported that the information that we requested at the preceding meeting, that he had requested by phone, by email from the business manager, and had not received it. So this has happened time and again. Baruti works full-time during the day. His business hours his availability to come physically to the station doesn't generally coincide with the business hours of the business manager, and nor should he be required to have to physically come into her office to obtain documents that she could simply press a button and send by email.
So why doesn't she? What's going on?
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the General Manager Search Subcommittee report, which I think I handed out copies of it meetings ago. But basically, if I may speak, I guess I was sort of delegated by the chair of that committee to give some kind of, I'm going to have to do it from memory and perhaps fill in the gaps next time. But the General Manager Search Subcommittee did, the General Manager's, well, we already know what the outcome was. We have a new General Manager, his name is Tony Riddle.
No, getting back to this issue of not.
I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, we're done. We're done, we moved on. We could develop.
I'd like to propose that we spend 3 minutes developing a procedure to get the information.
The procedure that is the proper business of the Finance Committee. All right, the time is up here, okay. The General Manager Search Subcommittee placed ads on websites, in magazines. They have quite a wide net in terms of putting out ads for candidates for the job of, applicants for the job of General Manager. They got a very large number of responses, as I understand. They were able to, just by looking through the applications, sift it down to a smaller number, ultimately came up with 3 finalists with whom they had second interviews. And they chose Tony Riddle. So there it is. But they did it, they recommended Tony Riddle to, as, their number 1 pick out of the 3 candidates that they all felt were well qualified. And he was in fact hired by the executive director. So we're all looking forward to working with him. But the General Manager Search Subcommittee definitely deserves kudos for doing a lot of very hard work in a reasonably brief period of time and finding somebody to take over the helm of the station at a moment when we direly and desperately need someone. So, as a permanent general manager, so just a vote of thanks to them. And the next item on the agenda.
Point of information?
Yes?
He was appointed by the interim general manager.
I'm sorry?
Interim executive director.
Yes, he was.
When does
As
he
opposed
begin
to
his
July.
He was hired. The next item on the agenda is the LSB Radio Report Committee. Do you want us to pass on that for a moment while we go on to the next? The Management Evaluation Committee has not met lately. Yes.
It's now 9:30. The meeting is due to end at 9:45. And we only had 15 minutes of public comment.
Well, that's true. Anybody else wish to make public comment? Martin. I'm sorry, Mark. First of all, is there anyone who hasn't spoken who would like to participate in public comment? Anyone at all who has not spoken? No? Okay, Martin.
You have 15 minutes.
Is this thing on, I guess so?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, just a suggestion. I wish the interim general manager didn't hang around at these meetings, and I wish he had. He would always leave at an inopportune time. And I would like it suggested that the new manager, at least in the beginning, to come to these meetings to see what the hell goes on and to know what he has to deal with. I think it's very critical. And, with these stall tactics, nothing ever gets done around here. And I have to lay a lot of it, blame this faction on this side. But anyway, getting back to the day-to-day business at the station, the new program person, this Natalie, I guess it's Tanaway. With my hearing, I couldn't really make sure. But anyway, the name of her program is Women's Body and Soul. And she does some wonderful stuff. But she had on a group the other day, a couple of people. They were fabulous. And they were talking about the black doll experiment and child identity. And what they had to say was incredible. But they went into business relative to their business. I mean, we're supposed to be non-profit and non-business oriented. Even my friend Gary Knoll, if anybody would hint to some sort of a profit situation where a business was concerned, he cut them off the air instantaneously. This gal who runs this thing called Dolls Like Me, I think she does wonderful work, but it turned into a commercial, and it went on and on and on, and a number of times. I think the information they had to pass to us was incredible, and I'm sure 90% of us didn't hear it. I just happened to be around at the time, and I was able to hear it.
I heard it.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, I think it was fabulous. Anyway, is there any way to extract a few bucks out of these people as a thank you? You know, they're obviously going to be making tons of money on this. Gary Knoll made tons of money from the station. And as far as I'm concerned, he owes the station $1 million. I wish we could get some bucks out of some other people also. Anyone else?
Okay, I spoke in some generalities previously. Maybe I should be more specific. I alluded to Dan Siegel, who is either general counsel or interim executive director of PNB. I don't think he himself knows from one day to the next which function he's performing. Refer to him as a repeated lawbreaker. One law which I have in mind is the law that says that when a member requests a copy of the membership list for a reason relevant to that person's interest as a member, Pacifica has to comply, has to at least respond within 10 days and offer a suitable alternative. And otherwise, they go to court and demonstrate that the purpose is not suitable or the alternative is okay and so on. The more recent example, of course, is just last week when Dan Siegel intervened to interfere with the director's right of inspection. Unlike the member's right of inspection, which is qualified, you have to give a reason, and the reason has to stand up in court as a valid reason and that sort of thing. A director has no need to give any reason. They don't even need to say, I'm planning to come and look. Now, in this particular case, directors did give courteous notice to the interim station manager and to the business manager, and there's no problem with that. However, once they were in there trying to inspect records, one of the JUC operatives got on the phone to Dan Siegel, and he was on the phone to them saying, don't let them see anything, this, that, and the other thing, and it essentially was interfering with the lawful act of a director. Now, people may think it's strange or unheard of. Actually, in a well-run foundation, this would be the usual thing for directors to examine the books. For the very fundamental reason that Dan Siegel is not the one in charge. The directors are in charge, and they are legally responsible for everything that happens in the network, in every single station. And believe me, if I am responsible for something, I'm not going to take it on faith that everything is all right. I want to see it with my own eyes. And this is very routine in a normal nonprofit organization that's run by normal people. I think people have to get it out of their head that this is something unusual, bizarre, strange, or whatever, for directors to try to inspect the books of the stations that they are responsible for. And Dan Siegel has not heard the last word on this. As I understand it, when you interfere with somebody undertaking their lawful duties, you are breaking the law. And if the PNB has its act together, they'll either terminate the person who does that or face the consequences themselves. Now, as regards some other specifics, one of the misstatements that's posted right now as of today on the WBAI webpage says the injunction has been lifted. No, the injunction was not lifted, has not been lifted. In fact,
It was-
the injunction has been confirmed. It also asserts that the injunction, Casey Peters called it an infamous injunction. Now, this is the National Election Supervisor editorializing, calling it infamous.
Could you wrap up, please?
Okay.
And also, that is actually the chair's mic.
We did not delay the thing. If they had mailed out the ballots to everybody who had requested them immediately, this election would have been over by December 1st. And then we'd have none of this confusion about two LSPs.
Excuse me, that's the chair's mic. Thank you. Over here. Thank you very much.
Shall I take?
Yes.
All right, in regard to things that I think the LSB, this WBAI LSB could do is, I protested on the computer show, I may have mentioned it before, I wanted to see a woman host. She could be on the phone, and just so that there was both sexes, both styles of humanity, or whatever you want to call it. If you want to have a gay person also officially, I don't care, but I find it offensive that the computer show is 3 chaps. Then Off the Hook, which is about modern communication, about the phones, about every type of communicative thing with audio and so forth, visual, hacking, travel, transit, all these different topics that involve women as well as men. And you have, and I once was at WBAI and I looked into the room and there were about 8 chaps there. I don't think they were cross-dressing, but I'm pretty sure they were all men. And young men. I found that amazing, and upon reflection and listening to the program, because I do listen, I don't think it's right not to have a woman host, even if that person responds via the phone. Or 2 or 3 women. I'm not saying you only have 1 woman. But the point is, there's something wrong. A simple thing like this. I mean, Vajra, don't you think it's simple to sort of say, well, look, let me put it a different way. People aren't going to subscribe. As a matter of fact, I think Ms. Magazine is angry with Amy Goodman because she doesn't say there's a new issue of Ms. Magazine. Unbelievable. Maybe Amy could have invited some representatives from Ms. to be on one of these gatherings where Amy talks and other people, Greg Palast and all these other authors and so on. There's something wrong, and just as Bernard White with the birthdays says, I don't know 4 of them, and I assume because I don't know them, you don't know them, and I've asked him to not handle the thing that way, and while he did change maybe once or twice, he reverted to this, I don't know him, and you don't know him. And then sometimes he'd say, Monroe, also including me as if, I mean, there's something wrong because you'd think that we would try to be nice to the community, to the people. We would say their names. Some people say, well, you can't name everybody on a certain day. Well, that's true, but I mean, there's something wrong when a person says, I don't know these 4 names, and you don't know them, and I'm not going to say them, and this goes out to the world. And
could you wrap up, please?
Yeah, I'll wrap it up, because, I mean, I could go on and listen to forums back because, what's going on?
Okay, one more. We have time for one more.
Parts of the injunction about the election that are still open have nothing to do with dates, nothing to do with the election process itself. It's just some of the requests that are made by the parties that brought the suit and then brought another suit this month and tried to bring a 3rd. The judge wouldn't even sign the 3rd one. He just ignored it. And so the election is scheduled to go ahead. Some people probably wanted to have more time for the election, which is probably a reasonable thing, so everybody could vote. But there is no problem with the the election being stopped by the quote injunction unquote. The only things remain open are some of the things they want, like to get all your names and addresses. You know, that's and a couple other items. That's it. Just 2 or 3 items, but nothing to do with the
Please
actual
come to order.
election.
Is that true?
This is public comment.
Absolutely
This
true.
is public comment.
Bob, what's the
How
problem?
many more minutes we got?
We're in the middle of,
We have time for one more public comment. Yeah.
I thought it was 9:40.
It's almost 9:45.
42.
Well, I'll have to correct the record there. Essentially, everything that Hillgardner said, I would say the exact opposite is probably true.
Yes, Bob?
I move to adjourn.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. Any objection? Without objection?
When's the next meeting?
The next meeting is Tuesday, March 25th. Without objection, this meeting at 7 p.m. Tuesday, we will say that at 7 p.m. Without objection at 7 p.m. At a location to be announced. Thank you all. Please leave swiftly. We are adjourned. This meeting is adjourned. Please leave as quickly as possible.